Hello, my name is David Chevrier, and in this video I will discuss the various types of fighting techniques that are allowed in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, also known as UFC. UFC started in 1993 and it is a professional mixed martial arts. When watching a UFC fight, you might notice it is very graphic and looks as though it is an anything goes street fight. But what many people don't know is there are rules and only certain types of fighting techniques that are allowed. So let's talk about them. The first technique we are going to talk about is boxing. I am sure most of you are familiar with this sport. In this sport, you will see the boxers fighting with fists, usually with padded leather gloves. Boxers use complicated footwork and quick jabs to defend themselves. Another allowed technique is kickboxing. The martial art is pretty much boxing and kicking, but this competition, once a fighter reaches the ground, competition's over. If you have seen a UFC fight, you know that it's not true. So the fight continues on the ground. Next we have judo. Judo is a Japanese martial arts born from jiu-jitsu. Judo focuses on throws, strikes, and strikes is not allowed in judo competitions. Next, there's jiu-jitsu and Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Okay, so we talked about judo being born from jiu-jitsu. So first, let me explain what exactly jiu-jitsu is. Jiu-jitsu is an ancient Japanese martial art, which includes throwing, joint locks, striking, and weapons training. So that's where judo came from, minus the striking. Now Brazilian jiu-jitsu, on the other hand, comes from Brazil, and is a competition of judo and jiu-jitsu. It is supposed to be effective for weak persons to defend themselves against larger and stronger persons. This type of martial arts focuses on ground fighting, joint locks, and chokeholds. Possibly the world's oldest sport, wrestling. Competitors struggle hand in hand, attempting to throw and take down opponents without striking blows. There are many types of wrestling, including freestyle, Greco-Roman. In the type of wrestling called freestyle wrestling, competitors wrestle hand in hand trying to throw or take their opponent down without striking blows. In this type of wrestling, there is a little more freedom. Another similar and slightly different type of wrestling allowed is Greco-Roman wrestling. Here, contestants also wrestle hand in hand, trying to throw or put their opponents on the ground without striking blows. The only exception is they can't use trips. You know, tripping the person or taking them down, and focuses on arm drags, bear hugs, and headlocks. All of that is allowed in the UFC fight. Some of you might be familiar with this next one, karate. Karate is a striking art focused on punching, kicking, knee and elbow strikes, and karate chops. Also, there's Kung Fu. Some also call it Gun Fu. There are actually hundreds of Kung Fu styles. Kung Fu moves are created after the movements of animals. Taekwondo. This is one of the most practiced martial arts in the world. Taekwondo is a Korean style known for its flashy kicks and techniques. I hope I clarified a few things for you today. You know, in a UFC fight, it is not a anything goes street fight. And that the UFC requires that contestants only are use certain types of fighting techniques: boxing, kicking, judo, jiu-jitsu, and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, wrestling, freestyle wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling, karate, kung fu, and also taekwondo. Thank you for your time, and make sure you check out the next fight in the UFC, fighting when Diaz fights Gullard on September the 16th, so you can watch the fighters execute the techniques I told you about.